Hello everyone, Julia Sheehan here, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator from Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Today I'd like to do this little card with you. I've noticed that recently everybody's been doing this card with a Christmas theme, so I wanted to do something a little bit different. And quite often you see in nurseries and children's room a snow globe, so I thought, okay, I'll make it a baby card. And so it sits up like this, and when it's on the shelf or it's got a little bit of a breeze coming at it through the window, it will spin because I made it double-sided. So it's exactly the same on both sides. And then I just did a little banner across the top here. Now, with this, you could also cut it so that you had a space between both sides, because the dome would still hold itself nicely there. And by running the line right down through the middle, it would hold it nice and steady and in position. So anyway, this is what we're going to do today. So the things you're going to need are a piece of Whisper White cardstock as your card base, and that will be 9 inches by 5 7/8 of an inch. It's just a little bit different size so that I could fit the rectangle onto it and still have a little bit of substance around the side. I did actually do it with the largest rectangle cutout that we have, but it wasn't necessary, so I stepped it down one. So it's the second largest one that I've used for the pink card, for that one there, and it still spins very nicely in that opening. So I reduced this one quite significantly. It's probably well over an inch, I would say. Anyway, that's what I've done with that. So that's the size of our Whisper White. And then we need 2 pieces of the Balmy Blue, and that is 4 3/8 of an inch by 5 6/8 of an inch. And 1 piece of Whisper White Thick. This one was thin, the base is thin, but the piece I'm using this for is inside the card, so that once that's all cut out, it will sit neatly over the top of where we run the line through. So I thought that having it stronger would probably be better, so that's why I've used that. Okay, you'll need a piece of craft line, just thin nylon line. I've used fishing line before, but I managed to get this in one of those $2 shops just recently for $2, and there's a massive amount of it. There's tons of it. It came on a little spool like this. It was in the area where you get things for earrings and jewellery and all that sort of stuff, so it was very cheap and very easy to get. Okay, then we just need our stamp sets and we're set. Now Today I'm using the Still Seams base, I'm using the little elephant congratulations and the hearts, and I'm using this beautiful panda, which I absolutely adore. I think that is just gorgeous. And this saying little one, and so tiny, so small, so loved by all. So that's, and I think I'm using Darling Baby from Fable Friends. I did use the little duck on one of the cards, but I haven't done that today. See the little duck there on the edge of the card? I didn't do that today. I was having a lot of trouble with my heat gun, so I've actually prepared that earlier. So I went ahead and I did my stamping and embossing because it kept cutting out, and I thought it might just cut out while I was trying to do it. And anybody who's watched me before knows that I do a lot of embossing, so you know exactly what I'm doing. So all you do is stamp onto your card and then cover it with your embossing powder and use your heat gun. So that's just a step ahead, and plus there's quite a lot to do with this card, so I thought that wouldn't probably hurt to do that. Okay, so the next step is to get our card base, and we're going to line it all up on one another and then put it through the Big Shot. Now, this extra piece of Whisper White that I suggested at 4.5 by 5 7/8, I've just taken a tiny bit off the side, and I don't know if you can see here, it's just not quite the width of the card. You might be able to see it there. Hold on, I'll see if I can hold it up. See, it's just short of it. Now, I'm going to sit that right at the edge because, and don't worry about that pencil mark because that'll be coming out with the cut, but it doesn't matter if it's along the inside here, you don't even notice it. So that's what I've done, and that will sit nicely. The card will shut, it won't push on each other or hang over the edge. So that's why I've done that. So I'm going to open that all up. I've lined up that one, lined up this one that I've done. I can actually attach this one, that will make it easier because I've already done it. And then the whole center of that will cut out. And that can be used for something else. And I'm all about that and all about using it for something else. So that's what I do. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there. And normally I have a much larger margin around the outside, but for this card I didn't. I'm putting the strength in these outside pieces so that the card sits up nicely. And I've had those cards sitting up for a couple of days now and they haven't bent or warped at all. So it's, I think, clear to me that putting that extra piece of cardstock on the inside and having it as the thick Whisper White gives it the card the strength that I wanted from it. So, okay, then I'm just going to line that up and go and put it through my Big Shot, and then I'll be back. Okay, I've got it back. Now, it hasn't cut out completely, which is what I expected. So, I'm just getting a cutting knife and running it just down where it's cut on this top surface. And you've got a perfect guideline there. And just keep doing that. And it's cut through in some spots but not in others. And so, because you're going through 3 layers, you can't expect the machine to do miracles. It gets most of the way through, but when you lift the die off, you've got this perfect line to follow. It follows it along just beautifully. See, that one's nearly out anyway, and you just need to follow it. Okay, and we just gently give it a bit of encouragement. Just on those corners is where you've just got to try and get it to lift away. And it will. It's just a matter of the corner on the die is slightly rounded, so we've just got to cut round that. There we go, that one's out. That one's not quite on the bottom one, but that's okay. I'll just help round that corner. And I think, yes, that one's come out nicely. That's all cut away. Just a little bit of teasing to get it out because of the rounded corner there. But it comes away, so you just need your little sharp blade of some sort. And last corner. And we're done. I love that it makes it so easy by just following the line of the die too. Okay, where are we at? Last little bit, where's it catching? Just there, and possibly there. Okay, we're good. It's out. Alright, so we have our bottom piece ready to glue back on when we want to. And that little piece we can cut out and use for something else. And that part's ready as well. Okay, so now we can get onto the dome. Now, what I've done with the dome there's, first of all, inside the dome, I'll get rid of this mat. And I'll do it on the desk so you can see it better. I cut 2 domes just out of thin Whisper White. This is just to give it a little bit extra depth. So, and plus it helped me with my measurements and laying out my line. So I used, I don't know, I won't use the shiny one because it'll make it too difficult. I just got my pencil or pen or whatever you want, and on the inside of the dome, just measure halfway. So I just measured that out quickly, and it worked out to about 7/8, close enough to 7/8 of an inch either side. So I put a little mark there, so that's the center. So then all I had to do was line that up on my grid mat, and as long as it's on the straight line across here, it shows you where the center is at the top of the dome. Then with these 2 pieces and my line, I just put glue. Oh, actually I didn't just put glue, I put some fast fuse that I had left over. I have a very old one here, but you could use anything really. Just a bit of that to help initially. And lay your line down across that. Give yourself a good length to work with. I find that if you've got a good length to work with, I mean, it's easy enough to cut off, but clearly you can't add to it once the deed is done, so it's probably a good thing to do. Okay, so then I'm just putting glue all over this, and I'm going to glue the other half dome in the Whisper White on top. Bit down the line as well, and just do your other dome on top, just like that. That's it. So you know you've got it in the center, both top and bottom, and it's done. Then all you need to do is get your 2 pieces of your glimmer paper, and I've just used this one, this beautiful white one, and where's my, just looking for some cardstock. There we are. This will do. And of course you cut out your panda and stamp your panda and everything, and I'm just looking for him. There he is. Panda goes on there. I'm using Stays On ink for my panda because I'm going to use watercolour pencil just to colour him in with the black bit. So put that on there. And the beauty of using this particular stamp set is that these are easy to cut out. They're easy to fussy cut because they don't have lots of fiddly bits on them. So all I did was colour him in with my black watercolour pencil, and it's just a matter of ears, eyes, and the little baby one's ears and eyes, and then his arms. And I did them quite dark. I tried them at different levels, but I found if you did it dark, it sort of stayed pretty dark for the fur on the arms and the legs. And I'm just doing this very quickly, more or less, just so that you can see what I do. I have got one prepared. The other beauty of these is they're very easy to colour in. There's not a lot to it, so it makes it nice and easy for you to get your work done without having like too much to do. But I just love this panda. I think he's absolutely, I should say, and the little one just look gorgeous. And just keep going here. Got a stray cat outside at the moment making all sorts of noises. Stirs up my poor old boy. Okay, once you've done that, just get your water brush. I don't like a lot of water in my water brush. So too much has come through there, that'll take a little bit to dry. I usually have something just to dab it off on too. Don't want it to be too wet. I can't find my fine tip one at the moment, so I'll just have to make do with this broader tip one. And just I found if I didn't do it dark enough with the coloured pencil, then it just sort of washed it out a bit when it came to using the water on the actual watercolour pencil. But I won't fuss around too much with this because I have done some already, so you get the general idea. Then all you need to do is fussy cut it out just nicely around the edges. And that I then have these. Then what I did, because I didn't want that to be right up to the top, I just sat it about where I thought it would look nice, turned it over, just drew a line and cut that off the bottom. And I'm just grabbing the scissors. So I've cut that off there, and then just to make it easy, you can just do exactly the same, line those two up. It'll give you the right angle, and cut that one off as well. Doesn't have to be a perfect match. Okay, so now I'm going to glue this bit down onto my dome. Just make sure your lines are all out of the way. Oops, that one got in there. Okay, see the beauty of Tombow, just moves around that little bit for you while I'm still trying to get the line out of the way. Okay, and straighten that one up, and then I'm just going to do exactly the same on the other side. Put my other dome on. I've just got better strength with the two domes back to back in the middle of this, seeing it's an open globe. There we go, pop that one on, and just pick it up and make sure it's all lined up. Okay, that's good. And then remember, with glimmer paper, you do have, when you're sticking down your cardstock, you do have just a little bit of, just trim that up, time to let it attach itself, because you've got to remember that glimmer paper is not flat, it's got this glitter on it, so therefore it's going to sit up just slightly. There's going to be like air pockets and little things, and so it just takes a little bit for the glue to take. So you just have to have a little bit of patience with that. Just sit that on there and press it down and give it a second to my hands are a bit in the wars. I nearly cut my fingernail off at work just recently, and then I burned myself. So I'm not doing too well. And then once that side's on, just turn it over and exactly the same on the other side. And again, just give it a bit of time to adhere down. Plenty of glue on the edges is always good. And he just sits on there like that. There we go. Give that a good press down. I've never had any thing ever come back off my glimmer paper, and I think it's because I do put a good amount of glue on there, and I do press it down to make sure the glue gets down into those gaps of the glimmer paper, and it needs to get down in there to attach. Okay, so that bit's done. So now we need our domes. Now I'm just going to wipe my hands so that I don't get any extra glue onto the domes, just to be on the safe side. Okay, so we've got our two domes. So now we're going to take this side of the, not the front, but the sides. And before we do anything, we put a little sprinkle of the ice Stampin' glitter in there. Don't need a lot. And I also put in there just some of these Snowflake sequins, just for a bit of fun. I mean, pandas live out in the snow as well, so I put a disc in there to stop them all popping out all the time too. Okay, so just a few of those in that side. And then we sit our disc in there. Now this is the bit where it gets a little bit tricky because it does stick to you a bit. So you just got to have a bit of patience. See what I mean? It wants to attach itself to me. You just got to sit this in your dome without it sticking too much, and then straighten it up. So this is your fiddly bit. There we go. It's not too bad. I mean, you just got to have a little bit of patience. Then that sticks down your line. Make sure your line is all stuck down. And then you're going to get your other dome, and you're going to also put some of this on this side and a few more of these. I'll just take that one off there. We don't want it to stop it from sticking down properly. And then take that one off as well. And then you're just going to place them together. There we go. And there they are. And then just shake down your snow. Now when you go around that, just give it a good squeeze down to make sure that they stick together. The glue is very strong. It's very, very sticky. So it's pretty good. And then, now that we've got that done, we need to have stamped our, where is it? I just moved it earlier. Oh, there it is. Our base, our dome of our snow dome. So again, Versamark Ink. Oops, it's all falling down now. Stay up there. And that just goes on to thick Whisper White because you want that nice and strong. So just a matter of doing that. Some embossing powder. I should have used the embossing buddy, but it doesn't really matter that much with this one because we're cutting it out. So if you do get anything on it like that, or you forget, because I'm the worst at forgetting. Oh, excuse me just a moment. I've got a new phone. Well, it's my daughter's phone, and there we are. Then I'll see if this is working or not. Oh yes, it is working at the moment. Very kind of it. Just a matter of heating this and then we're going to cut that out as well. It's a beautiful base. I did try the cutout one. I didn't like it as much for this particular project, so I decided to just do the stamped one. I have two here, and they're done on Whisper White. Now I'm going to attach those. That's what I was saying about the phone. So I've got my old phone, and then my daughter tried to transfer everything over onto her old phone, which is an iPhone, and mine's an Android. Well, some of it worked, but some of it's been a bit tricky, and so I've got two phones at the moment. So the other one was ringing then, and I've been having trouble trying to film on one and not the other, and yeah, it's lots of fun and games, and I'm not technical, so it doesn't help. Okay, so then we take that off, and we're going to put, oh, if I can pick it up, this one on this side. It just fits snugly up there. Okay, and then you're going to turn it over, and where your line comes down, just hold it nice and straight coming out of there. You can glue it down. You can measure it across if you're worried that you're not going to see it as well as you think you can, you know, for straightness or whatever. But I think it pulls down pretty well. And then all you need to do is to take this side off. Pull that away. And then there we're going to get sticky again. I'm going to hold that straight, and I'm going to put this one over the top so it matches the other side. There we go. And just straighten it up and pull your string out the bottom, or your string, your line. There we go. So that's all there. And then where it's all sticky, just grab a piece of paper, and we're going to get our Dazzling diamonds and just sprinkle it all over that glue, like that, and just turn it over and do exactly the same thing on the other side. And if you want to, you can just press it in with your fingers. And there's our little snow dome with our beautiful panda inside. Okay, that's ready to attach to the card now. I'll just clean this up. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Now, the next step. You've got your dome, and what I've done is I've tied just a little knot because I've measured it up against the inside here and where I want that knot to be, and another one at the bottom, so that I have them there to block anything pulling it through. So all I need to do now is measure this gap, and it's okay, so it's 3 3/8, so that's 1.5 plus 1. Just need to get the light out of my eyes there. So that's the center there, and if I line that up, I don't even have to worry about measuring down the bottom. I can just line it up with that one. Okay, so then I can lay my line in here. Oh, fast fuse. Again, that comes in handy. I've got... No, it's not going to behave itself. It's everywhere. I have the worst luck with fast fuse. It's terrible. Okay, now the top one I'm going to lay on there, about there, so that I've got my knot stuck down. Whoops, try that again. My knot stuck down about there. And then I've cut myself just a little strip of cardstock, and I'm just going to place it underneath there so that the knot sits above it, like that. Okay, you all got that? See the knot sitting just above my strip. That's just for added security. You can choose to do it or choose not to do it, entirely up to you. And then I've done exactly the same thing for the bottom. And it's just a matter of pulling that one down, sticking it down, and yourself, and then putting that on the side. Oh God, I've got it on my fingers now. Above your knots below that one. So my knot's down the bottom of that one. Okay, and then it all sits in there really nicely. Then all we're going to do is put some glue on there. Or we can put it on the back of our frame so that we'll get it exactly where it should go. And this frame gives it stability, covers up all the fixings that I've put on there, and covers that all up. Plenty of glue where you think the line goes through too. Okay, and then I'm just going to sit that on there like that. Then I'll just quickly turn it over, make sure that it's all not poking out anywhere on this side, and we're good. That's done. And it's covered up all the mess. And then all you need to do is to snip off your bits of line. And I'll do the other one in just a second. Now we'll do the inside of the card, and for that I've just used So Tiny, So Small, So Loved by All. I'll pop that onto a block. Got bits of blocks everywhere here at the moment. Oh, try putting it up the right way, Julia. Had a very busy week. Very busy. Still got more to come all weekend too. Now I've lost my Versamark, but luckily I have two. There we go. Embossing buddy, if I can find it. My little buddy. On there, and we're good to go. And hopefully I'll get it reasonably straight. Doesn't look too bad anyway. There we are. See, even with the embossing buddy, you can still sometimes get little bits and pieces that stick, so it's always good to have that little paintbrush there to fix it over. And hopefully, oh yes, it's still working. I'm surprised. There we go. And then I used my corner punch. Whoops, sorry about that, bit of noise. and just took out the corners. I do have a few other punches, but they're not current at the moment, so I couldn't use them. So, but I think this one looks quite cute. And you can put a bigger sentiment in there too if you want to. Just do whatever you want to with it. Just around the edges of that. Okay, that goes in the card there. Press that all down. There's our card. Now I have done a little congratulations that I did earlier. I'm just going to flag that at that end. I'm only doing this by eye, so it's a little bit wonky, I think. Not too bad though. And then I bent it, so just round my finger, just to give it a little bit of shape, and then just cut off that side. There will do. And just over the finger there, just to make it sit out a bit. And then I'm just going to attach that with glue. No dimensionals today whatsoever. Again, fairly unusual for me, but it's what happens. And I'm going to put it at the bottom of this card, just for something different. There we go. And there it is. There's our little, just shake down all the snow in there. So we've got our pink and our blue one. And I hope you enjoyed that. It's a long tutorial, I know, but it's not a hard card to do. Just take it step by step, and it sits and spins so nicely, and having it on both sides I think is really nice, rather than just sitting it into the card for a change. I like them in the card as well, but I just thought, oh no, I'll do something a little bit different with it. So I really hope you enjoyed that. I'll snip that off in a minute. And having that little knot there will stop it sliding through. So if you use plenty of glue, it shouldn't slide through either, but I always do extra just to make sure. Anyway, everyone, that's it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd love you to do so. So if you'd like to join us, I do a tutorial every week. And please have a visit to my online store and have a look and see what you think about all these products. You'll find the domes and everything in there. So, and it's good. There's some clearance items that are a fair bit cheaper, which are always good to pick up. And yeah, just have a go at doing something like this, and I hope you really succeed at it and you have fun. And please send me a picture or let me know whether you did it or not, because I'd really love to know if somebody else tried to do this, and that I hope the instructions are good enough to help you along. Anyway, everyone, have a wonderful week. I will see you again next week, and have a lovely weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.